Close your eyes for a moment. Now imagine this. You wake up to the soft rustle of wind brushing against old clay walls. The sun hasn't fully risen yet, but the world is already breathing. From a nearby minaret, a voice rises ancient, steady, calling people to prayer. In the kitchen, someone is gently pouring fresh mint tea, its steam curling through the cool morning air. You step outside, and the street is already alive, not rushing, not loud, but full of quiet presence. A neighbor nods, someone waves, a baker slides golden bread from a clay oven. Time seems elastic. The morning doesn't demand anything from you. It welcomes you in. This is a morning in Morocco, where tradition guides the day like a gentle hand on your shoulder. Life flows. Schedules bend. People move not to a clock, but to a rhythm. Now shift the scene. You're in Sweden. The world outside your window is still. The snow, if it's winter, lays evenly like a quiet promise. If it's summer, the light has already filled the sky, gentle, long, calm. Your alarm goes off at exactly 7 o'clock. Not a second late. You rise, step into your minimalist kitchen, and make strong, black coffee, no sugar, no fuss. The apartment is clean, designed to be lived in with peace. You check your phone, calendar, meetings, weather, public transport. Everything is predictable. Everything is reliable. You head out into a world where systems protect your time, your energy, even your mental health. This is a Swedish morning, quiet, precise, grounded in personal space and social trust. A culture where planning isn't just efficiency, it's care. So here we are. 2 countries. 2 ways of waking up. 2 entire philosophies of life and work hidden in the smallest details of a Tuesday morning. In Morocco, comfort comes from belonging to a family, to a neighborhood, to something spiritual and timeless. In Sweden, comfort is found in clarity, a life that's designed to support you, so you can be calm, free, and in control. One runs on flexibility, the other on structure. One embraces the unexpected, the other reduces uncertainty. And yet, both promise the same thing, a better quality of life. But here's the real question. Where is it actually easier to live and work? In the warmth of tradition or the safety of systems? In a world that flows with you or one that gently holds you steady? That's what we're going to find out. In this video, we'll spend 1 full working day in Morocco and 1 in Sweden. From the moment people open their eyes to the moment they switch off the lights. We'll explore how they move, eat, focus, rest, connect, and recover. We'll listen to the rhythm of each place and ask which one resonates more with you. By the end, the answer might surprise you. Backhand index pointing right, so tell us in the comments. Would you rather live in Morocco's flowing human warmth or Sweden's quiet, structured care? Why? Let's begin. Morning. In Morocco, the day doesn't begin with urgency, it begins with atmosphere. The kind of quiet that comes just before sunrise, when the air still carries the coolness of night and the city hasn't yet stretched its limbs. For many Moroccans, this beginning is spiritual. The soft, melodic call to prayer, the adhan, flows out over rooftops, drifting through narrow streets, gently waking the soul before it wakes the body. It's more than a signal. It is a ritual of rhythm, and in many ways, it sets the tone for the entire day. People often rise around 7:30 or 8 a.m., though this varies with lifestyle, climate, and region. In rural villages, farmers might begin their day at sunrise or even earlier. In cities, life unfolds at a slower, less dictated pace. The mornings are never a mad dash, they are a glide into consciousness. The first thing many do is make tea. But this is not your typical tea. Moroccan mint tea is a cultural art form, brewed with green tea, packed with fresh spearmint, and sweetened generously. The pouring of tea is its own visual poetry, the kettle raised high above the glass, letting the liquid cool as it falls. It awakens the senses and brings families and neighbors together around the breakfast table. Breakfast is often humble, but comforting. Warm cobs served with argan oil, amlo almond spread, soft cheese, honey, or olives. Some households include semolina pancakes like bagrer, or fried msemen, folded and flaky. In every form, breakfast is not rushed. It is shared, and often quiet, with the TV playing in the background, or the radio softly broadcasting morning Quranic recitations or folk music. The streets begin to hum around 9 a.m. Not rush, hum. This is Morocco's quiet orchestration. Automobile commute. By 9 a.m., cities are slowly unfolding. The commute in Morocco is rarely a solitary experience. People move in waves, walking in groups, boarding shared taxis, scooters buzzing by, buses weaving between market stalls. Shared taxis, both grand and petit, are the lifeblood of urban movement. They pick up multiple strangers heading in the same direction, often resulting in spontaneous conversations. Politics, football, religion, prices, all are fair game in Moroccan taxi talk. On foot, you'll pass street vendors setting up carts with mismin, brouillots, or fresh juice. The air fills with spices, fresh bread, car horns, and greetings shouted across the street. Children in uniforms chatter on their way to school. Men and women in suits, jalabas, jeans, or hijabs walk together, part of the same mosaic. Time isn't viewed as a rigid enemy. Being 10 minutes late is not a crisis. What matters more is that you arrive in good spirit and with intention to connect. Office building start of the workday. Work begins around 9 to 10 a.m., depending on profession, geography, and sector. In formal workplaces, schools, banks, administrative offices, schedules tend to be more fixed. But in the informal sector, flexibility reigns. A carpenter might open shop at 10:30. A tailor might finish their tea first. A market vendor may begin selling early in the morning, then take a midday break before reopening in the evening. Morocco's economy is alive with improvisation. In the workplace, relationships are currency. Colleagues greet one another warmly, sometimes with a kiss on both cheeks or a long handshake. In offices, desks may be small, but the welcome is big. Before emails and schedules, there is always room for greetings, check-ins, and shared moments. Even in modern companies, the structure is softened by hospitality. Meetings often start with tea. A quick work exchange might become a discussion about family. Progress moves through connection, not just efficiency. Fork and knife with plate, lunch and breaks. Lunch is the axis around which the day turns. Around 1 o'clock or 2 p.m., the city breathes in. Stores close, shutters roll down. Offices empty. In homes across Morocco, pots simmer and tables are prepared. It is common for people to return home to eat. Even in busy cities, some businesses allow extended breaks for a proper meal. Others eat in groups at work, ordering from a nearby diner, or unpacking food brought from home. Lunch isn't just a pit stop. It is a pause for presence. Typical meals are warm and hearty. Steaming tagines filled with vegetables and meat, couscous with chickpeas and caramelized onions, fried fish, lentils, or lubia, white bean stew. Bread is torn by hand and used to scoop up food, creating a tactile connection to what's eaten. The mood during lunch is light and familial. People share jokes, news, frustrations, and dreams. This time strengthens not just the body, but the social fabric of the workplace. In warmer regions, the midday heat demands rest. After lunch, some people nap. Others sit quietly, sipping tea or simply being still. The city pauses, as if it remembers to breathe. It is a sacred silence. 3 o'clock, end of the workday. Work picks up again in the mid-afternoon. Depending on profession, the day might end by 4:30 or extend into the early evening. In markets and small shops, business often continues late into the evening. Vendors adjust their schedules to suit customer flow and climate. In offices, the second half of the day is usually quieter, more focused. There is no glorification of overwork. In Morocco, staying late is sometimes necessary, but it's never a badge of honor. People respect those who leave work to care for family, visit parents, or attend prayers. If someone is absent or delayed, it's customary to ask, "Is everything okay?" rather than, "Why are you late?" There is an understanding that life happens, and that work, while important, isn't everything. Crescent moon evening. As the sun sets, a new kind of life begins. Markets bustle again. Cafes refill. Families return home, and the scent of evening cooking fills the air. Soups, grilled vegetables, fresh fruit, hot bread. Dinner is typically served between 8:30 and 10 p.m., depending on the household. Meals are lighter than lunch, often harira soup, olives, bread, lentils, or leftovers from earlier. The family gathers, and time expands. Meals are not eaten in silence, but in story. Television might hum in the background, showing a Turkish drama, a local comedy, or a religious talk show. Children play on rooftops or in alleyways. Teenagers linger with friends. Adults gather to talk, walk, and simply be. Cafe culture is alive. Men sip tea and watch football. Couples share quiet conversations. Women meet in groups or walk along palm-lined avenues. There is movement, but no rush. Moroccan nights stretch long. They allow people to reflect, reconnect, and recharge in ways that feel organic and deeply rooted in the rhythms of the land. Sparkle's cultural touches and observations. Hierarchy is respectful, not rigid. Elders and managers are treated with dignity, but interactions remain warm, not cold. Fashion is diverse. In cities, traditional jalabas and kaftans are worn alongside jeans and sneakers. In rural areas, modesty and cultural norms shape clothing more clearly. Religion structures time. The 5 daily calls to prayer create a sacred rhythm. Even non-practicing Muslims are guided by its presence. Adaptability is key. Plans change. Conversations wander. Schedules bend. And it all still works. Guests are treated like family. Foreigners often marvel at the hospitality, the willingness to share time, stories, and meals without expectation. What Morocco teaches us is this. In a world obsessed with speed and output, Morocco gently reminds us to slow down, to savor, to greet, to pour the tea slowly, and not just for yourself. Here, work is part of life, but never all of it. And the measure of a good day isn't how much you produced, but how much you connected. Work here doesn't compete with life. It moves within it, respectfully, harmoniously, and with soul. Morning. In Sweden, mornings begin not with urgency, but with an almost sacred sense of calm and quiet order. Whether in the middle of a snowy January or the glow of a summer morning when the sun rises as early as 3:30 a.m., the beginning of a Swedish day is anchored in predictability and peace. Swedish homes reflect that spirit. Spaces are minimalist, yet intimate. Pale wooden floors, functional furniture, neutral tones, and oversized windows that welcome the daylight. There is a quiet beauty in the order. Many homes keep candles from the evening before still on the table, not yet lit, but waiting for their moment later. The first sounds of the day are soft, the hum of a coffee machine, the rustle of slippers, the quiet steps of a parent in the kitchen. There is no TV blasting, no shouting, no frenzy, only the aroma of fresh black filter coffee drifting through a quiet home. Coffee is not just consumed, it's respected, almost ritualized. That first cup is a small act of mindfulness. Most people wake between 6 o'clock and 7 a.m., with some early risers starting their routines even earlier to get in a morning workout or meditation. The routine is often meticulously planned the night before. Clothes folded on a chair, to-do list reviewed, bags packed. Children dress themselves. Adults check the weather and layer up accordingly. Breakfast is quick, but balanced. Crisp bread with cheese or smoked meats, yogurt topped with muesli and berries, slices of hard-boiled eggs, or a banana on the go. It's not about indulgence, it's about nourishment without excess. Breakfast happens in shared silence or quiet conversation, with public radio or classical music playing in the background. Even families with multiple kids operate with rhythm and restraint. Each person knows their role. There's very little yelling or rushing. The Swedish concept of lagom, not too much, not too little, is already alive before 8 a.m. Tramper commute. The Swedish commute is an act of quiet transition from the personal to the professional. In cities like Stockholm or Gothenburg, the infrastructure supports an orderly flow: trains, trams, subways, buses, and a vast network of bike paths crisscross through neighborhoods. People board trains in silence. Headphones in, eyes lowered. Books, newspapers, Kindles. Some scroll news sites. Others simply look out the window, watching forests, lakes, or city blocks pass by. There's no need for chatter. It's understood that this is your time. Personal space is honored. Eye contact is minimal. Everyone minds their own peace. Punctuality is an art form. Public transport is expected to run exactly on time. A 2-minute delay will be noted, often announced by a calm voice apologizing and reassuring passengers. And people take it seriously. Being late is considered disrespectful, even mildly selfish. Biking is also a massive part of the culture, year-round. Even in the dead of winter, Swedes bundle up and ride, their bikes fitted with snow tires and lights. There are showers at many workplaces for cyclists. Sustainability isn't a trend here. It's built into the infrastructure and the mindset. Office buildings start of the workday. By 8 o'clock or 8:30 a.m., most offices are already quietly active. Scandinavian workspaces often emphasize openness and function. Open floor plans with lots of natural light, muted color palettes, and sustainable design materials. The mood is focused, but not tense. There are few unnecessary meetings. People come in, greet each other with a brief hedge, and get to work. Titles are almost invisible. A junior developer and the head of product may sit side by side. Everyone's contribution is considered important. Work begins without ceremony, but around 10 a.m., everything briefly stops for fika. Fika is more than a coffee break. It is a cultural pillar. A pause, typically 15 to 20 minutes, when everyone gathers in the break room or kitchen to share coffee and something sweet, cinnamon buns, cardamom cake, cookies, or fruit. But fika isn't about the food. It's about connection. People talk about their weekends, their kids, a book they read, a news story. This time is protected. Not rushed, not optional. Even busy managers step away from their desks. Fika strengthens workplace culture through humanness. After fika, employees return to work with renewed focus. Swedish companies value self-direction. You are trusted to complete your tasks without micromanagement. Meetings are usually short, clear, and outcome-driven. Feedback is direct but delivered respectfully. Problems are addressed early, without drama. Fork and knife would plate lunch and breaks. Lunchtime arrives around 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., depending on the workplace. Most offices have company cafeterias offering healthy, affordable meals. Typical lunch foods include salmon with dill potatoes, root vegetable gratins, hearty soups, lentils, or plant-based dishes. Lunch is quiet and purposeful. People often eat with coworkers but don't feel pressure to chat. It is entirely normal to eat alone, read a book, or go for a walk after. No one will interpret solitude as loneliness. After lunch, some workplaces encourage short walks or allow quiet time. The emphasis is on mental and emotional restoration. Sweden recognizes that a sustainable workday includes space to breathe. In many companies, a second fika happens around 2:30 or 3 p.m. This one is lighter and quicker, a cup of coffee and a few biscuits. But it carries the same social and emotional function to reset, reconnect, and prevent burnout. 3 o'clock into the workday. Work typically ends between 4:30 and 5 p.m. At that time, people close their laptops, clean their desks, say goodbye, and leave. There is no shame in leaving on time. In fact, it's seen as a mark of professionalism and healthy boundaries. Those who consistently stay late may raise eyebrows. It suggests poor planning, not dedication. Swedish work culture believes that life outside the office is just as important as what happens inside it. Overtime is rare, and when it does occur, it's compensated with extra pay or time off. Emails are rarely sent after hours. Colleagues respect each other's time off. Taking all your paid vacation is not only normal, it's expected. Crescent moon evening. Evenings in Sweden are deeply personal. They're a time to recalibrate, recharge, and nourish relationships through solitude. Dinner is usually eaten between 5:30 and 7 p.m. It might be homemade pasta, grilled vegetables, hearty soups, or Swedish staples like meatballs with lingonberry sauce. Meals are often eaten at the kitchen table, without screens. Children are included in conversations. It's a moment of family reconnection. After dinner, activities vary. Reading, TV, music, sauna, or hobbies. Some go to yoga classes. Others meet friends for a quiet fika or a walk in the forest. Even in urban areas, Swedes maintain access to nature. In summer, evenings stretch into glowing twilight. People go paddle boarding, take midnight swims in lakes, or grill outdoors. In winter, the early darkness is met with candles, blankets, and quiet contentment. Homes become warm caves of light and calm, a manifestation of the beloved concept, mystic. Sparkles cultural touches and observations. Workplace equality is embedded. Titles are informal. Leadership is collaborative. Power is decentralized. Parental leave is generous. Parents often share 480 days of paid leave. Fathers taking time off is not just common, it's encouraged. The environment matters. Recycling is second nature. Many workplaces are carbon neutral. Sustainability is part of company culture. Education focuses on life skills. Swedish schools emphasize group work, emotional intelligence, and creativity over rigid testing. People trust the system. Government programs, public health, and infrastructure are respected because they reliably deliver. What Sweden teaches us is this: a well-lived life is not built on extremes. It is designed with care, balance, and rhythm. Productivity thrives not from pressure, but from trust, boundaries, and mutual respect. Here, you are allowed to be efficient without being exhausted. You are encouraged to be excellent without being consumed. And you are always reminded that work is not the whole story. In Sweden, work is not your identity. It is simply what you do during the day, so you can truly live the rest of it. Morocco versus Sweden, a deep cultural workday comparison. Direct at purpose. To contrast two fundamentally different workday cultures, one shaped by tradition and community, the other by structure and autonomy. Both countries value comfort, but define and reach it through completely different means. Mantelpiece clock, wake-up time, and morning rhythm. Morocco. People typically rise around 7:30 to 8 a.m., though this varies by season and profession. The pace is slow and relational. Mornings are fluid, wrapped in ritual, from the call to prayer to the pouring of mint tea. There's no strict deadline. The day unfolds organically. Sweden. Most Swedes wake between 6 o'clock and 7 a.m. Mornings are structured and quiet. Everything is pre-planned the night before. There is a clear rhythm, soft, predictable, and built on individual autonomy. Breakfast is quick, healthy, and functional. The unspoken goal, maintain calm. Key difference. Morocco embraces the morning as a moment of presence and flexibility. Sweden treats it as the first act in a precisely conducted performance. Tramcar commute experience. Morocco. The commute is social, dynamic, and unpredictable. Shared taxis, scooters, and buses form an energetic urban symphony. People talk to strangers, buy food, and accept delays with a shrug. Movement is part of life, not a mechanical routine. Sweden. The commute is silent, efficient, and highly structured. People read, listen to podcasts, or simply observe the passing scenery. Public transport is clean, on time, and respected. Even biking is systematized. Personal space is sacred, and noise is rare. Key difference. Moroccan commutes are communal and spontaneous. Swedish commutes are personal and precise. Office buildings start of the workday and atmosphere. Morocco. Workdays often start between 9 o'clock and 10 a.m. The line between personal and professional is fluid. Hospitality and conversation come before tasks. Relationships and trust matter more than punctuality. Hierarchies are informal but respected. Sweden. Work starts by 8 o'clock or 8:30 a.m. Offices are silent, focused, and open. Hierarchies are flat. Even top executives sit beside junior staff. Directness and autonomy define communication. Punctuality is strict and culturally expected. Key difference. Morocco prioritizes human warmth and flow. Sweden values structure, respect for time, and emotional clarity. Hot beverage breaks and food culture. Morocco. Lunch is the anchor of the day, usually between 1 to 2 p.m. Meals are communal and often shared. Long breaks are the norm, especially in hotter regions. Tea is offered frequently. There is no rush to return. Food is connection. Sweden. Lunch is early, 11:30 to 12:30 p.m., short, and often quiet. It is practical and healthy. Socializing is optional. Fika breaks, usually around 10 a.m. and 2:30 p.m., are intentional pauses for coffee, connection, and recharging. Key difference. Moroccan breaks are spontaneous and sacred. Swedish breaks are scheduled and protected. 3 o'clock end of day and attitude to time. Morocco. Work often ends around 5 o'clock or 6 p.m., but timing is flexible. Staying late is common in informal sectors but not glorified. Time is negotiated situationally. Life and work blur naturally. Sweden. The workday ends promptly at 4:30 or 5 p.m. Staying late is seen as a failure to plan. Boundaries are strict. After work, you are truly off. The system supports mental rest. Key difference. Morocco allows for fluidity and social adjustment. Sweden enforces clear boundaries with systemic support. Crescent moon evenings and personal life. Morocco. Evenings are vibrant. Streets fill with life. Meals happen late. People visit neighbors, gather in cafes, or enjoy rooftop conversations. The night is social, alive, and spontaneous. Sweden. Evenings are quiet, restorative, and often solitary. Dinner is early, homes are cozy, and activities revolve around peace, reading, walking, yoga, or rest. Family time is structured and cherished. Key difference. Morocco leans into communal spontaneity. Sweden leans into private restoration. Brain conclusion. Two definitions of comfort. Morocco offers comfort through connection, adaptability, and cultural rhythm. Work is part of life, but not the sinner. Sweden offers comfort through structure, autonomy, and social security. Work is respected, but never allowed to dominate. Neither system is superior. One bends with life, the other protects it. And what feels like comfort to one person may feel like chaos or coldness to another. The real question isn't which is better, it's which rhythm would you thrive in?